than I will be. I am all that I am. And the souls of all my great-grandmothers and the dreams of all my great-grandfathers and the way to rise beyond the pain. Oh, live, oh, live, oh, live in me, in the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. And the smiles of all the unborn children and the dreams of a better day to come, and the dance of heaven with the earth. Oh, live, oh, live, oh, live in me, in the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. Been robbed and disgraced, abused and displaced. Been robbed and disgraced, abused and displaced. Been lied to. But lies can be seen through in the land. You can't fall from grace in the land. You cannot be heard in the land. There's more than enough in the land. Always at home. 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 In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am more than I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am.
Denise Pridgeon, Kieran, and Rachel, thank you so much.
Y'all were so busy lowering your microphones, you didn't really take all of that in. It's probably one of my favorite performances ever, 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 ever. I am, I am, I am, I am. That is that which is our God name. It is the primordial part of us. It is the unpolluted part of us. It is the purity of us that has never been violated. It is the truth of us that exists at all times, that knows no time nor space nor boundary nor history, no opinion. It is the I am. And when we continually come home to that, we have to be amused by the fact that the spiritual path is not a path of learning. It is a path of unlearning all of the things that have gotten in the way of the I am. And so when we began to go back to sacred scripture, and even in the book of John where it says, I go to prepare a place for you. Who is it that's going to prepare a place? Is it some outside force, some deity, something, some ideal of God that is separate from you, that is going to do something that is not extended or a part of you? Who is this thing, this I that goes to prepare the place? The I is you. And yet, if you grew up like me and you probably went to many funerals, they always read that passage. I go to prepare a place for you. That was to bring us, those of us left on the planet, some semblance of comfort. Because we thought that this thing that goes to prepare this place was this energy, this force, this God that is separate from us. And when you read that scripture in that context, it says, I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and I prepare this place, I will come again. I will come back, and I will receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. So the old ideal, God goes and prepares this, comes back and gets us, and then we get to live in the presence of that which is God forever. But we're forgetting that the I am is us. And so when we go back and we study that and we revisit that, then we realize that the thing that has gone to prepare that place is our thought. My thought goes and prepares a place for me. And only my thought is the thing that goes to prepare the place. The barometer of that which is consciousness within my life is the energy field that goes forth and prepares and beckons me to join it at the level of my self-awareness. And when we understand that, then we can listen to the majesty of that song and we can go, it is the I am in me that is the true reliant, that is the true energy, that is constant, that will provide and will create and will manifest for me all that is in alignment with that which I know to be my thought. And have you ever arrived at some of those places and goes, who is the landlord of this place? Call the landlord. You're going to be calling yourself. And as much as we would like for there to be an exception, there isn't. And one of the things that has gotten in the way of that I see prevalent in our world, is the idea that somebody knows more than you or knows more than me. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't times when we're not students, and then there are times when we are teachers. And then there are times when we begin to understand that the student-teacher component or energy system or archetype is continuously interweaving itself. So I may be teaching in 1 minute and turn around and somebody's teaching me. But the thing to remember is that when we fall into the idea that somebody has to intercede for us in order for us to be able to go to prepare that place, when we believe that someone in their infinite wisdom can do it better because their I am is somehow superseding my I am, then we have forgotten the fact that everything is a part of the one. Again, I'm not saying there isn't things to learn from other people. But the thing to look closely at is when you give your power away to some authority because you feel that at the very core of that authority they are better than you, then what you have done is you have begun to diminish or blanket over your I am. And we do it all the time. We think that there are people who can lead us or guide us when at first we haven't even stopped long enough to go into the internal guidance and wisdom within us. We're so automatically reaching out for relief out there that we have neglected the wisdom of that relief that resides inside of us. Listen to me carefully, because what I am not saying, what I'm not saying is to avoid all of that out there, but it's to understand that all out there is there to support and help in a unilateral relationship, not a better than, less than. Because what I see is that even if I make one slip up and I think, oh my God, this person is so much wiser than me, so much more knowledgeable than me, is better than me, if I do it with one person, then the likelihood of me doing that over here, and then over here, and then over here, and then over there becomes the all-pervasive way in which I relate to the world. But when I can show up in the purity and say, I'm willing to learn, I'm open to learn, and I'm aware of the purity and the receptivity within me. There's no arrogance in that. There's no ego in that. In fact, it's the antithesis of that. It is egoic and arrogant of you to deny your I am. And more than ever in our world, it is necessary for you and I to begin to court and be back in right relationship with that particular power. Where do we do this? Where do we give our power away and think that someone is far more wiser than we are? You know, they say never meet your heroes. And you know why? It's because when you meet them, it's a very sobering thing when you realize that, oh my God, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. Unless they wear a sari, and then they just slip the sari on one. A little 11:30 humor there, but... So there was a story that I saw that kind of spoke to this. There was this lowly cowboy, simpleton cowboy, that was riding across the desert when he came across an Indian. And this Indian was lying on the road with his head and his ear to the ground, and it was apparent to the cowboy that this Indian wasn't just any Indian, it was the chief. And he said, "How you doing, chief?" And that chief, with his head to the ground, said, "Big, pale face, with red hair, driving dark green Mercedes with German Shepherd dog inside. License plate SFT 965, going west." The cowboy's like, wow. Gee, chief, you hear all of that just by listening to the ground. To which he said, "I'm not listening to the ground. That SOB just ran me over." We think other people are so much more sacred than we are. We make assumptions that they're so much more sacred than we are. Tell me what I don't know. What I want to do is I want to invoke within you to be willing to explore what you don't know about you. And in that exploration, to honor that which is the thing that goes before and prepares the place for you. So any teacher, in my opinion, worth their grain of salt is someone who teaches you to be the teacher. And so this month, there was this theme within CSL, and it was called Freedom from Discord. And I had to smile. I said, wow, what a month to pick a title and a theme called Freedom from Discord. It spoke to that ideal that I often say, that love brings up everything unlike itself. So now here's this big collective body of metaphysical churches around the world who are talking about freedom from discord. And so discord does what? Presents itself. For us to remind ourselves of what freedom really is. And what is freedom? And what is discord? You see, freedom simply is. Freedom is accessed through the inward arena of thought. Freedom isn't behind a locked door or a locked cage. It is the atmospheric energy that surrounds every single person at all times. Just like love is the energetic atmosphere that surrounds people. Just like creativity. Just like all of those things, the virtues that are attributable to that which is source or life itself. You would never say or think that life in and of itself only has so much freedom. So freedom is a constant. So if we're going to pick a theme and says freedom from discord, then that freedom and that discord are dependent upon the way in which we have a relationship with those two words and the definition of those words. If I think then that discord is all around me and that discord is the responsibility of someone else, then I have indeed given my freedom or my accessibility to freedom away. It's still there, but I've created a self-imposed locked cage to that. And so as I begin to explore that, and as I begin to think of what are the things repeatedly that are the discord that get in the way of my freedom, the thing that came up for me this week was forgiveness. Forgiveness is the thing, in my opinion, one of the key things that gets in the way of freedom. But it's not the forgiveness of going and forgiving others. It's the forgiveness of self. And I think mistakenly, when we think about self-forgiveness, we think of it then as some isolated thing, some sacred hidden thing that we engage in. And as I was reading some research from the University of Seattle, where they did big studies on forgiveness, I loved what they came up with. And they said it's not that at all. The term self-forgiveness implies that there is this solitary act completed in isolations from the others. But research showed that on the contrary, the process described in this research is a long one, not entirely of one's own doing, which involves a radical shift in one's way of moving in the world. The initial experience is an emerging awareness that something is fundamentally wrong about one's life and a feeling of estrangement from self and others. As forgiveness is gradually embodied, one moves towards feeling at home in the world. Therefore, self-forgiveness always takes place in the context of some varying relationship out in the world. What that meant to me was that instead of me doing my self-forgiveness work in the privacy of my own world, that true effective self-forgiveness work is me entering into the world. And so if I have beliefs about poverty, and I've adopted these sort of thematic vows of poverty, that somehow being poor is holy, and that has interrupted my life. It doesn't matter how many affirmations that I create in the privacy of my world. If I need to forgive myself for this alliance, this allegiance, this connection to poverty, then how am I going to do that other than going out into the world and finding the times that I want to withhold, and in that moment, not withholding? I can't conceptualize it. I can, but it's not going to be effective unless I go out into the world. If I have to forgive myself for the error of my thinking with regards to believing in a world that abandons me, that's not fair, that is putting upon me And so because I believe in those things and I'm cutting off my freedom, if I need to forgive myself for the illusion of that thought, it's only going to work so far for me to do it in the privacy of my world. No, I've got to go upon the collective of those people. And the moment that that charge gets pushed, the moment that that injustice button is pushed is the moment when that I incorporate the self-forgiveness and I go, this is not true. This is of my own making. And I get to change my behavior interaction after interaction after interaction after interaction. Not just sitting and thinking about it. Freedom then is what? It is an action. It is an action that is accepted and adopted as a lifestyle. It's not just a theory to contemplate and talk about. Neither is love. Neither are any of those attributes that are universal, that we associate with Source. That's why it's not enough for you to just sit and write an affirmation. You have to go and be that affirmation. And that takes practice. It means that when we look at freedom from discord, then what have I, David, what have you labeled as discordant in your life? And guess what? You get to go meet that. Sit down with it and say, here are the rules. I go to prepare the place for me, not you. I take my power back. And then you start to realize then that the thing that separates us from this ideal of freedom is basic, simple fear. Fear. Pure and simple. So when I am fearful, I understand then that that is the basis of all my discord. And then when I understand that fear is the thing that I am giving my power away, then I can't help but think about that phrase, not my monkey, not my circus. A lot of people say it the other way around. They say, not my circus, not my monkeys, but I think you have to start with the monkey first before you invite the whole circus in. So if the monkey is our fear, right? Then I get to look at where I have gone and I have given my power to this monkey. Whether that monkey is my poverty consciousness, whether it's my sense of abandonment, where it's my self-loathing. And what have I done? I have fed that monkey. I have carried that monkey on my back. And I said, how many more of your friends do you have? Let's create a circus. We'll sell popcorn. We'll charge admission and we will say, this is my I am. My I am is one big messed up circus. I almost cussed. And so the way in which you tangibly go to self-forgiveness is to go to the monkey. Seriously, go to the monkey. Go to the thing that you are so paralyzed by and walk up to that thing and say, I take you back. I'm not feeding you. Again, just like I said, if I believe that other people are necessary for the interceding of my well-being, and I solely give my power away, I will do that with one after another, after another, after another. If I do that with one monkey of fear, I will eventually arrive at a whole circus. Because it will just breed that way. And the beautiful part is if I wanted to completely overcross this and replace the negative with a positive, I could say the same thing about that. That by taking that power back, that the I am of who I am is so clear and so self-assured and so aware of its power that it would understand that it doesn't have the luxury of a negative thought. It doesn't have the luxury of a long-held grudge. It doesn't have the luxury of operating from an energy of withhold and poverty. It doesn't have the luxury of that. Because if it did luxuriate in all of those fears, then the place that is being prepared for me is the same old, and that's what I don't want. And I go, oh my God, I can't blame anybody anymore. I hate this place. It stripped me of my ability to blame other people. And so there is the story of the Buddha walking down the street, and this man approached him and started hurling all of these insults and accusations at him. And the Buddha just stood there calmly and listened to the irate man until he stomped his feet and he waved his arms in the air, and then the irate man turned around and marched off down the street. And a bystander who was there and watched the whole thing ran up to him and walked over to the Buddha and said, how were you able to not respond to that man? And the Buddha merely paused and asked this new man, if someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does it belong to? Talk amongst yourselves a little bit. If some monkey wants to come and offer me its status of fear and I don't accept it, then who does the monkey belong to? Not me. And so what are we accepting? What are you accepting in the I go to prepare a place for you? Am I accepting the fact that that's someone else's responsibility? Am I accepting the fact that I need some intercessor in order to make me whole? When I realize in my pure state, in my I am state, I am what? Already whole. That this path that I'm on is not a path of trying to cram information in my mind, but it's about uncramming all of the dialogue and all of the opinion and all of the domestication that is in my mind to get me back to the purity of what I am. That song was so powerful. That knowing is so powerful. It's the same sentiment that was in that little book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And that little book had a tagline on it, and it's all small stuff, right? It was written by Richard Carlson, and it said, if someone throws you the ball, you don't have to catch it. You don't have to catch it. So the world is throwing lots of monkeys, lots of balls, lots of advertisement, lots of information. There are groups and sects and leaders and organizations that tell you that you are not enough, that you have to go through this particular thing in order to be enough. And I'm telling you, you're enough. But the responsibility of that enoughness is not mine. It's not the staff's. It's not our teachers. It's not our board. It's what you do in the privacy when you leave this space and how you interrelate in the world. I will tell you week after week that freedom from discord is a very simple process of disowning your fear. But unless you and I go and in the act of forgiveness of self, the forgetfulness of this, if I don't engage in that, then you will just keep showing up and it will be concept after concept after concept, and eventually you'll get so pissed off. Because you'll say, that doesn't work either. And it'll be one more notch on the peg of all the things in the world that don't work. You are enough. You are brilliant, brilliant emanations of wisdom. You are instruments of peace. You are more than talent. Everybody has talent, but you are talent infused with passion that incorporates action that makes that talent serve the world. You are love. You are the inventors and the creators of the most amazing things that will grace our planet. You are already whole. You are not your physical body at all, although the physical body has served you and all of the lessons that were required for us to learn in our evolution, but you are not that. You are not defined by that. What you and I are known for is the energy of love and transformation that we bring, the catalyst that we are in our world with regards to the faithfulness of freedom. And the beautiful thing is that when we forget, and boy, I have, when I fall upon my knees to be the student and the teacher shows up, what that teacher reminds me is that I've had it all along. So I tell you today, your freedom relies in the awareness that you have had it all along. So if you'll close your eyes for a moment. I want you to think about something in your life that feels discordant. Just get it all nice and juicy there in your mind. And then at the same time, because you are so talented, I want you to bring in that feeling of solution. It's that beautiful, beautiful mental process where you take that which is discordant and you say, how would I feel if this was resolved? How would I feel if this wasn't an issue? How would I feel if I stopped talking about this and I knew that all truly was well? How would I feel? And I want you to bring that feeling in for a moment, just a moment. And I want you to practice and see how long you can sustain it. How long can you sustain that feeling of solution, of freedom? And know that as you practice sustaining that is the I that goes to prepare the place for you. That is the energy. That is the power. That is the freedom. It is thought. I don't have to tell anybody what I'm doing. All I have to do is go into the secret place of the Most High and begin to practice in thought that place. And then to make my actions of self-forgiveness in the world congruent with those thoughts. And the place that I prepare, oh my, knows no boundaries. And so as we breathe in together, I just affirm individually and collectively that this thing, this energy, this emotion, this feeling centered around freedom begins to unlock itself, begins to crack out of some jail, that begins to seep out from just a trickle into a mighty rushing river through the consciousness of each and every one of us, where we realize that this thing called freedom is so much at hand if we will but walk to the banks of it and drink deeply. And so I accept freedom for myself, knowing that to the degree that I do, it is the freedom that is affected and felt by my brothers and sisters in this world. In acknowledgement of that, and in gratitude of an awareness and a reminder of the infallible nature of law, of the infallible nature of I am. Together we breathe, and if you are in agreement with me, anchor this knowing in by saying, And so it is.
Hi, I'm David Ault, and I simply want to say thanks. Thanks for taking the time to watch our broadcast here at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We have a vision, and that vision is to reawaken all to their spiritual magnificence. And one of the ways that we are able to do that is through this very medium of broadcasting. So if you got anything out of this, if you felt in any way inspired, or if something spoke to you directly, then I extend an invitation to you to become a part of our family by donating. And there are many ways in order for you to be able to do that. One is to simply go to our website at slca.com, and there you will find all different kinds of prompts that will help you support what it is that we are doing here in Atlanta. One way is to become a pledger. That means that you decide on a monthly basis that you are going to help us with this vision. Another way is to donate through our management system called Fellowship One, another through PayPal, and another even easier way is on your cell phone. You can do what's called text to tithe, and that number is 404-796-7030. Again, thank you so much for your support, and I invite you to come back weekly to see what it is that we're up to. Blessings.